Dear faithful communicators, our God is a three-in-one God. One God, but three persons. The Trinity. Our God is a God of community. The Trinity itself is community. It's community in action. The three persons working together in harmony. St. Agustin, who wrote around the year 400, thought that if we went back and realized how human beings communicated before the fall from grace, that communication would have been perfect community. And in fact, he believed that human beings wouldn't even have had to speak to use their bodies. They could just understand each other like telepathy. And they could understand God perfectly like telepathy. Amazing thing to think about, especially if we project that into the future and say, what might heaven be like? And if heaven is perfect relationship with God and perhaps with each other, what will communication be like? Perfect communication. And will we have to speak it or write it or text it? Or will it be like telepathy? I don't know. These are big theological questions. But Scripture says wherever two or three, let's say wherever two or more are gathered, there God is. It's the Trinity again. Two people plus God, Trinity. It's community. We're called as human beings to live in community with God and with each other. And communication is this marvelous gift. And not only that, but we're incarnate communicators. We're bodily communicators. Just like for Jesus Christ in the body, God embodied communication, we get to embody communication. And not only that, but our communication, like God's, is multimedia. If God can communicate through any medium, any way, remember the heavens even can declare, then how is it that we are multimedia creatures? Incarnate multimedia creatures. Trinitarian grace in our midst. Another way to think about communication as Trinitarian is the three major things that we can do with communication through grace. One is to create. To create. We create communication all the time. We can take this too far and say that we can create whatever we want, whenever we want, like God. But in some sense, we're really just sub-creators under God. So we can create. We can also concile or reconcile. We can bring people together to live more in harmony the way they should live, to eliminate differences that shouldn't be there or conflicts that shouldn't be there, to concile. And then we can comfort one another. We can comfort. One word of encouragement can be tremendous comfort to people. Now think about these three things, creating, conciliing, and comforting in terms of the Trinity. God the Creator, Jesus Christ the Reconciler, and the Spirit the Comforter. All of this Trinitarian grace comes to us as a kind of taste of heaven on earth. And a good word for this is Shalom. It means harmony. It means things the way they should be. It's not just the lack of conflict, but it's flourishing in our relationship with God, with other people, and with ourselves. We don't yet experience this fully, but we experience it some by God's grace in this life. We taste it. So by God's grace, through the gift of communication, we have right relationships, more or less, with God, other people, and ourselves. So we can live in this triangle of love, loving God, loving neighbor as ourselves. Each of us is related to the others around us, those we communicate with, those we commune with. Each of us is related to God, for good or for bad. Each of us is related to ourselves in some way, so that we might create and reconcile and comfort. This is Trinitarian grace through communication in our midst. Shalom.